YouTube, what's going on? Your boy Ao is back with another Last Shelter video. This is a big one. We're talking the best APC formations in the game right now. So this could change in the future, in the distant future, it will definitely change. And even in the near future, it could change a little bit. But we've had over a week of fighting, Eden fighting, champion duels, the new heroes, kind of everything. We have a pretty solid grasp on kind of the strength of at least the heroes and a lot of these combinations. So let's just dive right into it. I'm going to give you kind of some different scenarios, so if you're a max base, you'll get some info out of this. If you're a medium spender, you'll get info. And even if you're a little bit less or more of a free-to-player, you still should be able to craft some decent APCs. Now, one thing to note is right now, with all of the introduction of all this new tech, these new, base 30s and USP and mech and hero equipment, the stats in this game have risen drastically in the last several months. In the last 9 months, the stats have basically doubled from what they were the entirety of the game previously. So this has changed things pretty significantly. And it doesn't look like it's slowing down, at least not anytime soon. So again, things can definitely change. With more might and more stats in general, some of the heroes become a little bit better or a little bit worse, depending. So the first APC that we're going to talk about is a very, very, very well-known APC that basically everyone at this point has, which is why I'm going to mention it first. And it's basically going to kind of act as a guidepost. So it's the classic tuner, Cyclone, Nightingale. Again, most people have this combination, so that's why we're talking about it. It's a full vehicle combo. Full vehicles work very well because you get bonuses, you get building bonuses for having full vehicles. It basically just gives you extra stats. It also makes your APC very, very fast, so it's really good for tile battles, and if you just need speed, you can double hit. Like you can send a slower formation, and then right as it's about to hit, basically, you can send this vehicle formation, and they'll both hit at the exact same time. It's very, very, very powerful. So this combination, basically the whole point is to just rip through the other APCs. It just does a lot of damage very, very, very quickly. Potentially in round 1, you can actually kill your enemy. If you have a lot higher stats, you're going to absolutely obliterate them with this combo. And even if your stats are less, depending on what they have, this combo can do really, really well. So this is going to, as I said, kind of act as as kind of the goalpost, basically. Combos from here will either be better on the same level or worse than this combo here. But like I said, basically everyone has this. So this is still a very, very good combination to run. Now, as far as last season goes, everyone was basically running that. People were running Beast, Thunderbolt, and Hunk. You can change the order of basically any of these, but this is kind of the traditional one. This combination, like I said, was really, really good last season. It's still very, very, very good. Again, full fighters, so you'll see a theme where, full APCs work very well for the same reasons. You basically get extra stats for having these, and they synergize off each other quite well. For example, if this guy's 7th ability, gives resistance on fighters, having more fighters makes that more effective. So this combination still works very, very well. They're incredibly tanky. Beast is incredibly tanky. Hunk comes in here and does, his confusion. And then Thunderbolt does a lot of kills. Even as a fighter hero, he's able to do quite a lot of kills. If you have them Hopeness labbed up, this combination is very, very strong, especially for defending or garrisoning or kind of countering other combinations. Now, it can get beat by the Cyclone combo that we just previously showed, but surprisingly, it even does well against that. Again, you might not win, but you will take some power off of that combination, which is important. It's not always about winning in a 1-to-1. Sometimes winning with 2 combos is better than, just losing straight out. Another combo that was absolutely wreaking havoc last season and still is Annie, Ladder Gen, Ifan, Wasteland Outlaw, and then Mech Pilot. So there's a new Mech Pilot skin that came out that just increases Mech Pilot You need buttons. You need to use the buttons, which I actually was like the first Last Shelter video that I came back. iFan has a skin as well. His skin is very good. He actually has 2 skins, but this skin right here is quite good. I should show the troops in case there's confusion. So this combination still is doing crazy things. You'll see here we've deviated from the kind of pattern. So in this case, having one type of each troop is actually also very good. There is season tech, or not season tech, but there is tech in your base that basically makes these combinations better. So having one of each gets you extra stats. And furthermore, having like very high yesterday tech and USP. If you have a shooter, like let's say your shooter USP is very high, or your yesterday tech, it just gives bonus damage to this whole APC. And it goes the same with, having a fighter in the APC and a vehicle in the APC. So with all the new tech and new crap, this is very effective. Now, you need Baneblade, but you also need Annie. Annie's an SP hero. It's very expensive or very difficult to max out these heroes. So not everybody has them maxed out. Man, all this talk about APCs and heroes has made me hungry. So let's talk about this video sponsor, Factor. Factor is a ready-made meal service that delivers straight to your doorstep. In today's fast-paced world, we don't always have time or energy to make meals, go grocery shopping, do the dishes, especially if we're in the middle of a tile war. Instead of picking up fast food or expensive DoorDash, having pre-prepared food at a moment's notice is awesome. With Factor, you get chef-made, healthy, tasty meals at a low price that you can cook and enjoy in minutes. If you like the idea of saving time, eating healthier food, you hate washing dishes, and you want to help support your boy AO, use my link in the description or go to go.factor75.com and use the code FACTORSE36323 for 50% off your first box. Yeah, 50% off. That's huge. I could use 50% off my Last Shelter packs right about now. So thank you to Factor. Let's get back to the video. So those 3 combos were basically last season's main combinations, and they're still incredibly effective today. So let's talk about some other combos. Basically, we have Annie Azure Mech Pilot. This combination works really well, but there are now 2 SP heroes, so this can become even more expensive. The reason why this works really well is Azure is absolutely insane with carry heroes. So carry heroes being somebody like Mech Pilot who does 350,000 skill kills works incredibly well. You can flex all of these combinations that I'm going to be talking about later. So you can replace Annie with another front row hero, or Mech Pilot with another carry, or Azure with another support. That's just going to be the case, and I do highly recommend trying everything out for yourself and seeing what works best for you and against your opponents, because it's dynamic. The game is very dynamic. So this combination works pretty well. It's definitely good. Another combination that basically is sort of off of the first combo that we talked about is going to be Jackie, the Lone Roamer, Cyclone Nightingale. So this is an interesting combination, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about it. I did do a full Jackie kind of overview video very recently. You can check that out if you're more interested in Jackie combos, but we'll just talk about this one. This does better against Tuner Cyclone Nightingale most of the time, the majority of the time. However, it does do worse against other combos, and this is something you have to consider. So that's why I mentioned basically flex, play around with your heroes, flex out certain individual heroes, and see what works best. Now, another brand new combo with the new hero. So just as Jackie was one of the new heroes, Lorenzo is a new hero. Lorenzo Beast Thunderbolt works very well. Again, you can replace whichever order. This is basically going to be an upgrade of the Hunk combination that we saw earlier. You're basically replacing Hunk with Lorenzo. So like I said, flexing out heroes can generally be a good thing. This is a really powerful combo if you need a full fighter combo. However, Lorenzo is very good. Very good. better than I think people initially suspected. So you can use Lorenzo in a insane amount of combinations. He's a front row hero who just does everything. He's really, really tanky, has a lot of survivability, and does a lot of damage. His skill kills will surprise you if you look in battle reports, and I have a bunch of battle reports to show later. So you can do something like Lorenzo, Angel. Angel can use anything. She's a general attribute hero, so she can use any troop type. So Lorenzo, Angel, and then Hammer. This combination is another full fighter combo that works really well. It's more kind of attack heavy, not as survivable, so better on offense than on defense like the other combination was. You can replace Hammer with Thunderbolt. It's going to work really well. So this combination is pretty awesome. Now we're going to talk about quite likely the single best combo, the single best APC in the game, and it utilizes Lorenzo. So Lorenzo can basically go with everybody, but this is probably the best. So it kind of takes away from you being able to use Lorenzo. It's going to be Lorenzo, Azure, and Flash. Now, it might seem interesting. This might seem like a weird combo, but you can see the pattern here. You have one troop of each type. Azure, as I mentioned, works really well with carry heroes. So before I was talking about Mech Pilot, Flash is a carry hero. That's her whole role, is to kill the other team and get supported while doing so. So Lorenzo is going to be that big, beefy tank in the front row. Azure is that support, basically. She really just helps out, carries enormously. And then Flash is there to kill everybody. And it's very effective currently, especially because of the rest of the meta APCs. So, as we all know, shooters do really well against vehicles. The main combinations that people are running are like Mech Pilot with vehicles. So Flash is basically going to counter that with the added support. Mech Pilot doesn't just rip through her as she was previously. So this is going to be able to counter Mech Pilot. It's not like a full counter, but it does really well against Mech Pilot. It's going to obviously do well against Nightingale. So this is very, very effective, very powerful right now, and it's killing most combos. The full fighter combos can do pretty well against this, and that's generally kind of what you want to run. But if the enemy or if you yourself have higher stats, this combo will just absolutely rip through everything. If they have a lot higher stats, this is a pain in the ass combo to deal with. So let's move on. There are still some really, really good APCs here, but that's a good one. At the very end, I'm going to basically, suit up 5 full APCs, and you can kind of, again, flex it as you see fit. So Angel is still pretty good as a front row hero. She's basically just a unkillable tank. However, her stock has decreased a little bit this season. Because of Lorenzo, Lorenzo is basically just an upgrade to Angel, unfortunately. Angel can use any troop type, which does give her an advantage, but Lorenzo is just probably the best front row hero. Annie is incredibly good as a front row hero, but Lorenzo is probably the best. So you can use like Angel, you can use Jackie. We're staying in the theme of the new heroes. This isn't the best combination by any means, but it is totally doable and totally fine. So you can do something like this as well. This will work fine. You can put in Lorenzo here instead of Angel. It's going to do well. You can put Annie instead of Lorenzo and do something like this. This combination works pretty well, utilizing Jackie, utilizing the new heroes. It's not going to be the best, but depending on what you have, you might have to use something like that. So now those are kind of all mixed APCs, with the exception of some of those that I mentioned from last season. Let's talk about kind of the full troop type APCs. So some people need these because, they might not have 5 Baneblade sets or something like that. Or they don't have, they're not deep into the tech and the USP research to have like mixed combos. They're not going to be as good. So we've already mentioned the Beast, Hunk, Thunderbolt, and the Cyclone / Jackie, Tuner / Jackie, Cyclone, Nightingale combos. So those are really, really good. Those are like the best full fighters and the best full vehicle heroes. In terms of the best shooter heroes, you can use Annie. Annie's, probably the best shooter there is, but again, she's very expensive. If you're using full shooters, you probably aren't a massive whale, so you probably don't have Annie. So we can talk about some of those combos instead. Diver is still decent. She's still pretty good. You can run her in the front row or in the middle, and it's quite effective. And then Flash, again, she's very good carry hero. So something like this actually works surprisingly well. Robust Cannon is another kind of carry shooter. He's just going to do a lot of damage. Same with Flash. They're both going to use a lot of skills, which synergizes pretty well here. This is a solid full shooter combination. It's going to do incredibly well against vehicle combos or any combos that have vehicles. The obvious downside here is it gets absolutely destroyed by full fighters, including like the Beast, Hunk, Thunderbolt combos, which a lot of people have. So this has obvious weaknesses, as any full shooter combination would have. Shooters are probably the weakest troop type, especially if it's all three of them. Another pretty good combination is Angel. So Angel can use, like I said, any troop type. So you can do something like this. You're basically replacing Robust, the damage from Robust with the tankiness of Angel, and this will work better against more combos, especially if you're not like significantly stronger than the opponent. So that's a decent full shooter combo. But for the most part, there aren't many, unless you're going to be utilizing Annie. And then again, you can kind of just do the same thing as I showed, like Annie, Diver, Flash, or basically just replacing the front with Annie. All right, so those are kind of a significant amount of the best APCs. Like I said, play around with it, flex it. So I'll basically just give you kind of the building blocks and go from there. Basically, you want a front row hero. These are very, very important. Maybe the most important thing in any APC is your front row hero. They take the most damage and generally need to be incredibly tanky. So Lorenzo, very, very good front row hero. Ladder Gen, very, very good front row hero. Angel, very good front row hero. Beast, very good front row hero. So basically, you can just play these heroes in any combination, and it'll be quite good. So that's basically what I recommend is like when you're building an APC, do your front row hero first. Whoever you have left, whoever you have remaining, kind of use that hero. So let's say we have Lorenzo. Then you want to talk about your carry hero or think about your carry hero. So somebody like Mech Pilot, very good carry hero. Flash, very good carry hero. Thunderbolt, very good. Whoops. Thunderbolt, very good carry hero. Hammer, decent carry hero. Thunderbolt's probably a little bit better, but Hammer works quite well. Robust Cannon. Even like Death Rider as a replacement for Mech Pilot if you don't have Mech Pilot. And so on and so forth. So those are really, really good. Basically, put in a carry hero, whoever you have remaining, or if you have like mech parts only for vehicles, it's better to use. And let's say you just have a mech weapon for vehicles that's very, very high. Or you have all like the vehicle equipment to start or something. If you don't have Mech Pilot, but you do have like, I don't know, Thunderbolt, it's actually going to be better to just use Death Rider. Even though Death Rider might be a little bit worse than Thunderbolt because of all of the other stuff that you have in your base, or like the vehicle USP is higher, using Death Rider is going to be advantageous. So again, play around with these things. And then once you have that, so once you have your carry and your front row picked out, then it's all about support. So support heroes, really, really good is like iFan. He does very, very well. Azure, as we've seen quite a lot here. Diver is going to be a good support hero. So things like that. And in certain cases, you can flex and play around with other ones like Hunk, and things like that. But that's basically how you're going to want to do it. Kung Fu Master is a good support hero. There are others, but these are just some of them. And that's basically how you'll just craft your own APC to test out. Even an APC like this, it's going to work pretty well. It's not going to do better than Azure just because Azure is a better support. But this is basically how you do it. And it turns out this combo works insanely well, right? Having the best or one of the best front row heroes, having one of, if not the best carry, and having one of, if not the best support. It just works really, really well. You can do something like this, which again, we've seen is very, very effective. You can do something like this, very effective. You can do this, right? So you can play around with a lot of these APCs and see what you get. Again, some of them are going to be better against others. Some will be better against more. And that's kind of how you have to figure it out. So another thing to mention when we talk about APCs and setting up your APCs is, unfortunately, there's only one hero of each. So I'm going to set up basically what I would recommend if you're a maxed base as the best of the best. So Lorenzo...